Hello and welcome back, guys. You are gaming with me, Brothgar, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Nubwo K6 headset. A quick overview of the headset will reveal that this is a big headset. It's got an automatically adjustable band for the top right here, and it's got some nice big ear cups, so it's over the ear sort of thing. It is a closed back system, so it's meant to be kind of noise isolating a little bit right there. It's got a fixed microphone that is flexible, and it also has some hand controls which allow you to adjust the volume up and down or turn the lights on or off. There you go, off and right back on. Now, before we go and pass some judgment here on this headset, let's go ahead and frame the discussion a little bit. There's going to be 4 points that I'm going to be judging this thing on, which is the build quality, sound quality, mic quality, and then the ergonomics / comfort right there. Then for the 5th thing, I would tell you the things that I would like to change on this if I could go back and redesign it a little bit. Now, with that in mind, this sells on Amazon for $20 when it is on sale and full retail price of $50. And it is marketed towards the PC or laptop gaming market right here as a low price but high quality product. So we'll see how that all weighs out here in a little bit. But in order to truly judge a headset, since it is kind of like a pair of shoes, you have to judge it against some other products as well. So you've seen here, these are my Razer Blacksharks. We're giving a little bit of comparison against that. We have our Fatality 1 Creative headset right here coming in as the low-end headset. And then representing the absolute true crap is the Sony, some sort of audio canceling junk. This is like the worst headset I have ever purchased. It's not actually a headset, it's just headphones, but it's my representative of absolute crap. So let's jump on into it. Reading off the back of the box here, what we have here is the mic dimensions being, it looks like 6 millimeters by 2.7 millimeters. To me, that means no, I don't really know what that means. Minus 47 dB with a plus or minus a tolerance of 3 decibels. I think they're referring to the mic right there. And the directivity is omnidirectional. Independence is 2.2 kiloohms right there. The speaker diameter is 50 millimeters with an independence of 32 ohms, plus or minus 15% right there. Frequency response is 20 to 20,000 hertz right there. Maximum input power is 20 milliwatts. Sensitivity with that is the 94 decibels plus or minus 3 dB right there. And the cord length is 2.2 meters. Boom. Right off the back of the box. All right, so let's jump on into the first 2 topics here, and I think they're connected to each other, both the comfort and sound quality. Now, this is, like I said, a big headset, so it fits just on my head here and does not apply that much pressure to my ears. And one thing I will notice is that the inside fabric right here, you can see it's kind of like a honeycomb thing, does actually touch my ears. However, it isn't really pressing on them. Most of the pressure is on kind of the paddeds on the side. So it does fit really quite well there. You can actually move it kind of forward if you want to. You could move it back as well. One thing to mention though is that even though the automatic strap right here, it does do a very good job of just fitting and resting the headset. I've never had a feeling like this was unadjusted. It adjusts really good to your head. Now, with that in mind, it is also a big headset, so it makes me think that this is designed for my head and bigger. So I don't think this would really fit too well on something like, say, a child's head, which is a little bit smaller. I think it would just be too loose. However, it's nice and comfortable on my fairly normal sized head, I believe. Anyhow, though, it feels good right there. One thing I will mention, though, as far as this pad goes, there's a little bit of a squeak that happens between my glasses right here, which are just these like plastic framed jobs right there. They tend to squeak a little bit right there. It's really not noticeable when you're playing games because you tend to be kind of statically looking forward right there. But when you are moving around, there's a slight squeak every once in a while. Not too bad. I've gotten used to it. I pretty much forgot about it after using it for a week. And all in all, the headset is really quite comfortable. It is heavy. How shall I say? Maybe not that heavy, but it does have a bit of weight to it. The big thing that I'm going to say is more noticeable as far as the weight goes is just how freaking big the cable is. This cable is massive. It not only does it kind of, here's a good comparison between the 2 different styles right there. When you compare like a normal headset right there with its wires and stuff like that, it is nearly twice as large as a normal headset cable right there. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it has 3 cables running through it, one of them being the USB power to power on the LED stuff on the side right there. So that's what the USB is for. It is not used for actually sending any sort of audio or mic thing. It is just a power source for the LEDs on the side right there. So while you do have this massive hand control right here to turn your lights on or off right there, one press it on and the other presses it off, and you do have volume control on the back side right there. The USB does nothing but provide power for that. All the audio is analog right there, so you have your headphones right there, and then the mic is on the second unit right there. You will need a combination unit if you wanted to use this on something like your PlayStation or Xbox controller, which makes you have, what is it, a pin node or something like that. It's basically the combination between both the headset and the microphone into one port. So you will need an adapter right there in order to make that work on your controller right there. However, with that in mind, since the cable is so large and long and, in my opinion, relatively heavy, it's not really that great to be using on a controller, especially if you're going to be standing up. You always feel like you're a little bit tangled up when it comes to that large cable. It's not a big deal when you're sitting down at a computer or a laptop like that in relatively static sit-down environment right there. Since it's not hanging off a controller, it really isn't that big of a deal. Now, all that being said, this cable and all of the different ergonomics, shall we say, just how big the headset is, goes into, really makes me feel like this headset is going to be quite durable. It has a little bit of extra molding where the wire comes out of the headset here and does a good job to really kind of reinforce that connection right there. And that's normally where headsets go wrong, at those connection points. And so on the hand controls and the headset itself, it has a little bit of extra kind of molding right there. Makes me feel like this headset is nearly bulletproof. All the wires in the headset seem to run across this non-flexible bit right across here, the metal hoop on the top. This is actually metal inside of a rubber casing right here, and I feel like the wires just run across there and through a slightly adjustable side right here. There's no sort of clicky-clacky extension bit that you have like with some headsets right here, which makes you wonder if this is going to wear out after some time. It doesn't feel like that at all. Obviously, if you're going to sit here and just flex this mic boom around all day long, and really crink on it, you're probably going to wear that out. But if you just treat it with some respect, it's probably going to last you a really, really long time. So for the people that are more or less thinking, is this going to last probably the life of my PC? Probably one of the first PCs you are building, since you are probably building a computer or have purchased a laptop of some sort, and you're saying, wow, I need a headset for it, but I'm on a budget. I feel like this headset is going to last you a long time. Let's talk about the sound quality, though. Sound quality is an interesting topic because you have to hear it to believe it. Let me give you an idea, though, when we're talking in Battlefield. There's two things that really come into play when it comes to game audio. One, does it sound good at all? And two is kind of the soundstage or virtualization of that environment. More or less, can you tell where stuff is coming from? So in this headset here, being my representation for absolute crap, the game sounds very, very tinny. It does not sound like there's very much dynamic range. When you fire a gun, you're actually wondering if you're shooting a gun. So that is kind of how that goes. And if somebody's shooting at you, you have no idea where that round is coming from. Stepping this up to, let's say, a $20 or $30 headset right here, which is a Fatality 1 Creative. And this was actually a step up for me when I first bought this years ago on my very first build for my PC right here. This does allow a bit of virtualization. I would say from a visual graph, it allows you some sort of idea of where rounds are coming from within relative ability. I don't know, you would know which direction it's coming from, but not necessarily how far that player might be away. And I think Battlefield 4 is a really good example for this, by the way, if you're just going to test things out and see how your headset performs. The guns and stuff sound all right in this. I would say this is a medium quality sounding headset. It works all right. It's not a bad choice if you're absolutely scrapping for money. But considering you can get this for $20, you're going to get a much higher quality sound for this. Like I said, maybe I didn't say it. This headset sounds a bit like vanilla. It doesn't have a lot of low-end bass like I would expect it to. With a 50mm driver and the fact that it has a closed back here, I would expect this thing to be really bassy. It sounds like, if you were to look at an EQ, it sounds very flat across the board. It's not really missing any highs, or it's not really missing any lows. It's just pretty much vanilla. Now, if you compare this to something that's a little bit more higher end right here, which is the Razer Blacksharks headset, this has a much more pronounced bass sound. So this makes you feel like you're actually shooting a gun, and this just makes the gun sound normal and good. Now, the virtualization for the Nubwo K6 right here is actually really quite good, in my opinion, for a 2.1 headset right here, which is just stereo. I have no difficulty in Battlefield telling where something's coming from and how far that might be away. For example, I was down here in this basement. I heard somebody running across a metal scaffolding behind me, moving back into a direction that was behind me. I was able to hear this just with my ears, not using the mini map or not looking around, and able to reposition myself in order to address that target. That's completely possible with this headset. So as far as the virtualization, I'm going to say it is good. It works well. So from a visual example, the other ones where I was able to tell where stuff was, but this one goes a step further, saying I can not only tell where stuff is coming from, but I can get an idea of how far that person might be away from me. So that works pretty well there. I would say it's completely on par with the higher end headset right there. Like I said, though, as far as the audio quality goes, it's good, but it's not special. Once you get beyond this, you start to get to things that are really special. I also have a M30X from Audio-Technica, which is a monitoring headset headphones. They're not a headset. It doesn't have a microphone on it. And those have a little bit more, let's say, they're a little bit obviously more expensive, but they have more detail to them. Now, with this in mind, I also played some lossless music, not so much lossless, but it was FLAC 24-bit at 48 kilohertz sound through this. Now, with that same example right here, the first two headsets I mentioned, headphones, headsets, whatever, the Sony ones right here, it's basically pointless to listen to music about like that because you just don't get any more detail for it. You get a little bit more out of this, but when it comes to these more higher quality headsets, you can definitely tell a difference between compressed audio and, shall we say, non-compressed audio, just for the sake of describing it. So yeah, it works all right. As far as music goes, it sounds well. It sounds good enough. I don't really have anything to say that it isn't good at. I would have expected more bass. Now I think I would have gotten a little bit more bass with one example right here. When you put on this headset, I feel like there's one thing that is not necessarily addressed as much as I would like it, and that is the noise isolation. I know it is described as having some sort of element of noise isolation, and what is noise isolation, just to give you an idea. Noise isolation, if you were to plug your ears, being 100% noise isolation. I can't hear anything outside there. My voice sounds weird because I can only hear it inside my head, but that to me is noise isolation right there. Now a headset like this I would describe as right around 50%. 50% of that audio is gone outside of here, and 50% of it is audio like I can hear it inside my head is a good way of describing that. So this headset right here is right around 25%. It would knock out around 25% of the audio around me. I can still hear my voice just fine, so I can communicate, let's say, with a friend right next to me with this headset on without much trouble. Whereas with the other headset right here, the Razer one, you would kind of have it's a weird experience because you can't really hear them. Especially if a game's going on, it's really not a social headset. This still allows you to be social, to talk to somebody else, and hear some stuff going on around you. Now, I think this steps up a little bit when I take off my glasses because I feel like a little bit of the sound is leaking out between my glasses and this padding right here. It's not quite soft enough to kind of isolate that. So that's one of the problems right there. I think a little bit is leaking out right there. And I think that also affects the amount of bass I hear, which is why I would say that this doesn't really have as strong of a bass. It probably has a lot to do with some of that audio slipping out between my glasses and my head right there. So there you go. It's a little bit better seal without glasses. Obviously, that's pretty much universal for all headsets, but it's more pronounced in this headset than anything else. Okay, so I think we have covered sound quality and comfort quite a bit right there. I really don't have too many qualms or too many complaints as far as sound quality. It sounds good enough, sounds great. I don't really mind it. Sounds well enough in music, and the comfort works well right there. With the one thing I would say is the squeaks on the headset. I wish they would have used a little bit of different material right there. Okay, so build construction, comfort, all of that down. Let's talk about the mic real quick. Alrighty, so here is the headset as it sounds coming directly through the microphone right here. And mind you, I am recording this directly, running it right through my motherboard, which is the MSI X, you can see it right here. Anyhow, though, this is just, like I said, nothing too fancy, no fancy recording, no special things. There's zero boost going on here, no dB boost, no noise cancellation, no acoustic cancellation. This is just how it sounds right here. A couple of things I will mention as far as this goes. I like the mic is not huge. It doesn't have one of those big fuzzy things on the end right here, but it still seems to do a good job of not popping, shall we say, not breathing into the mic, or shall we say, you know, when you blow your nose, you're really not like blowing somebody's ears out right there. So I think it does a pretty good job of that, actually dropping out, so we say, the puffs of your voice right there. I think it does a good job of that. The other thing I like to see through this, I'm not sure if it's because of my motherboard or because of this microphone itself, but it seems to be loud enough with no dB boost right here. Let me go ahead and just knock it up plus 10. That's about as much as I would actually want to knock this up. If I go up to plus 20, I start blowing out my audio right there. So 100% without dB is a pretty good option, but you can knock it up to plus 10 dB. Let me go ahead and bring that back down. So all in all, I think the mic is good enough. I like the fact that it's flexible. I like that you can kind of put it over here, and I like that it's not too big. All right, so let's finish off this review here with things I would like to change on this headset. Now, the first thing I would like to change on this headset is I would like these ear cups to be a little bit deeper. Now, unfortunately, you cannot replace these ear cups. So I would say the foam padding on the ear cups right there, they're just not detachable. You'll rip the fabric before you get them off the headset. So it's a one and done sort of deal, you know, they're just not replaceable. Now, the thing is, I don't really like my ears touching the fabric on the inside. It's noticeable. It's not painful. It's just something I would like because I don't really like to feel that fabric. I wouldn't mind if they were a little bit deeper. The other thing I would also like is no squeaks for my glasses right there. It is a little bit distracting, and since this cable is big and kind of stiff, when I move like this, I can hear that squeak a little bit happening through my headset right there. But, I mean, how often do I do this number when I'm playing video games? I'm pretty much just focused straight ahead, so it's not a big deal. And the other thing I would like is I really don't ever see the LEDs on the side of my head when I'm wearing it. It's great for anybody else that might be seeing the headset, but it really doesn't affect me at all. So with that in mind, I wouldn't mind this cable being quite a bit thinner. It's just really big and frankly kind of bulky as compared to every other cable out there, and it's a noticeable weight, especially with this hand control being as big as it is. You can feel it kind of hanging off your head if you're standing up. It's not too bad if you're sitting down. The other thing is I would also like a clip on this thing, because if I could clip it, let's say just throw it in my pocket right here. Let's say I got a little bit of a pocket. If I just throw it in here like this is far more comfortable than just having it hang down. Well, maybe not quite in this configuration, but if I were to have a clip on it, that would be pretty nice, because then I could just clip it right here, you know, and I just don't feel that weight on the ear as opposed to just feeling it on the shirt. All right, so let's finish this review up. Do I recommend this headset? I think at 20 bucks, it's an absolute steal, and especially if you're talking about a good headset to get you started on your first computer build, you're not going to really be missing out on the headset quality or sound quality or durability at all. I think it's a great option. At 20 bucks, it's an absolute steal. At 50 bucks, it is still definitely a good option compared to some of the Turtle Beaches and Razer products or some of the other ones, the Logitechs, or, you know, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely an extremely durable product as compared to just about any other headset out there with regards to maybe something like this. Anyhow, though, all in all, I think it's a very good durable product. There might be a few that are a little bit more comfortable. Anyhow, that's my review here of the Nubwo K6 headset. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave them down there in the comment section below, and I'll see if I can answer them for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.